This and that for life. You know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life. This and that for life. I'm always for life, nigga. This is blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara. Here go a class for you, my nigga. 144 the road. The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I'll tell you what. Don't pray for nothing in the church. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them churches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. And bring his gift. Have your respect to your oppressor. Be about your business. This Lord teaches damn sin is little. Trying to pick up with a blind foot. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. That was a grand prayer. They hunt you like bad pill. But ain't no getting out the game like you munchie. You take that office and bandit. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one. You ain't gonna bet so you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times. It is death to his partner. So how you feel about this truth by the show? This ain't the like you think, nigga. I should won't die. Even your own people go this show. And my little one said they hate you for my name. So you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing. Ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like Jonas did. Murder for capital knives. Murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement. We like fuck a ready. I pity those watching life as it goes by. Be giving mercy in his life. I don't know why. It's pump smoke. Never tried over it. They dead on my brother feet dead. It's all I don't get a photo salute, my nigga. Like how you stay focused? I told him I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. And I never do my niggas like Bishop D. Rahim. Never mind in all belief. They under anesthesia. Shorty said she leaving, said she wanna let that love go. So I let that love go. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood. So, how you feel about this truth by the show? This ain't the like you think, nigga. I should want even your own people go this show. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Where's he going with this shit? Oh no, you belong to somebody new. Cause tonight you belong to me. I'm from West headquarters. Follow my captain's orders. Live in the land of pain and torture. No straw, but they want their mortar. Tell Trump, fuck borders. P.S. prepare for slaughter. Never take these sons and daughters. Never give them all a return. Niggas never wanna learn. Till they laying in the urn. Babylon, Babylon, Babylon. You got to burn. Even if I gotta go with it. So fucking is you with it. Niggas never feel rugged, they just wanna rip it. If I see a bad bitch, then I gotta rip it. Your lip looking like the Red Sea when I split it. Tell me why that flow so vicious. Every time he switches, beat a nigga ass like Muhammad with switches. You niggas look real gay. Where all the bitches? I mean, where all the sisters? Better stay away from witches. That's a brew hot.
Long Trooper Shari Wan. Shalom, shalom, Israel. I'm Officer 50s of Badra. Shalom Yah Bashim Yahshai to all the brothers. Shalom Yah Shamar Elatha Bashim Yahshai to all the sisters. I'm Officer of 50s of Badra, the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA. And tonight's class for history is Martin Luther King Jr.'s nightmare. Right? Seeing how every Negro and their grandma was out talking about MLK today and how he did such a good job. We're here to wake everybody up out the matrix and snap them back to reality. Right? This was not a dream. This was a nightmare. Martin Luther King's vision was a nightmare full of lust and servitude for us, right? He was full of lust and lust for what our oppressors had, right? He wanted their system. He wanted their way of life, right? He wanted their women. When there's 12 tribes of women he could have went for that would be legal and righteous in the Most High's eyes, right? But he wanted to bring us into that burning house. So we're gonna get into Martin Luther King's nightmare. First, let's see what we got here. Yeah, 1 second. Right. Also today we're gonna also go into the land laws that happened after the civil rights. Right. That's part of this nightmare. What do we got first? So Martin Luther King Jr. He was born January 15th, 1929, right? And he was assassinated April 4th, 1968. So I need the screen share right quick. Bear with me. Right? Is
Still loading, sir.
still loading? Okay. All right, 1 second. Let me take care of that. How's it looking now?
It's 12, sir.
Come, Most High in Christ. Get rid of that. We got this. All right, so what do we got here? Right, this is from CNN. This was released. It's not giving me a date when it was released. Let's see. So I have this November 4th, 2017, right? So President Donald Trump, well, then President Donald Trump, his administration released a new batch of documents about John F. Kennedy's assassination Friday that included a secret FBI analyst that portrayed civil rights leader Martin Luther King in a harshly negative light. Right? So the 20-page documentary attempts to tie the civil rights leader to various communist influences, alleged financial improprieties at Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the civil rights organization that he led. The document also contains insinuations and assertions about King's personal life, including extramarital affairs and other sexual improprieties that would have been deeply embarrassing to King at the time. Right, so that's what we got for that. Let me jump right back right quick. Right, so at the time, what was happening was during the civil rights movement, J. Edgar Hoover, he was the head of the FBI, right? So he's the man who basically modernized the FBI to what it is today, where like all these wiretaps and surveillances happen. Like before, the FBI wasn't like that, right? Like you could basically, like, there's a movie that I watched a while back, Public Enemies, where they portray like Esau doing what Esau does best, right? So during the Great Depression, Esau started robbing banks. So they play I don't even remember this. John Dillinger, that's his name. John Dillinger was robbing banks, right? And they were trying to catch him. So they basically show you the timeline of J. Edgar Hoover setting up wiretaps and like changing the FBI to what it is today, right? So that's the tactics that they were using. And when Martin Luther King went to Washington for that Million Man March that was supposed to be about jobs, right? So the Million Man March was supposed to be about jobs, but the Christians, they got a hold of it and turned it into they want to be hand in hand with our oppressors, right? So instead of worrying about jobs, it was now like freedom for our oppressors, freedom to vote, and freedom to just like destroy the black community, right? That's why when you walk outside right now, your communities that you live in are utterly destroyed, right? So while he was at the Freedom March, he was in a hotel also, right? This is what these tapes allege, that he was in a hotel also ordering whores and prostitutes to have an orgy, right? That's something that you hear about like today with your Christian pastor. Your pastor right now today is ordering whores and having orgies and doing the Lord knows what on the pew, right? There was a pastor that came out just a while back that was he had some lady fully bent over a podium, I guess.
Right.
Right, so we're gonna go into it. And even in what we were just reading earlier, the Edgar Hoover, he was alleging that there was some financial improprieties in Slovakia. Like there was some financial practices that Martin Luther King Jr.'s organization was doing, and they weren't good practices. So that was basically alleging that they were stealing money, right? And that's something that the pastors do right now, right? Creflo Dollar wanted all the tithes just to go buy a jet, right? Like you see your pastor pulling up in Benzes, and you're down on your luck right now. You can't get $1 from him to pay your rent, right? That's not what happens in the I.S.U.P.K, right? In the I.S.U.P.K, we show brotherhood, right? Our tithes don't the tithes that we pay don't go to Cadillacs, and they don't go to whores, and they don't go to all the ungodly things that the Christian pastor does, right? So we got something else during that time too as well. Who was the president? John F. Kennedy. So you know what happens when basically Jackie Kennedy, after John F. Kennedy died, she did an interview, and she had some words about the civil rights leader, our so-called civil rights leader, who they worship today, Martin Luther King, right? So that I'm gonna cue that up for you and get that going, right? So these are the Jackie tapes. Let me cue that up for you in 1 second and get that going. Hit that share screen. Wait, I gotta stop the share screen for a quick second. Get back to it.
Slovakia, sir. Was that on YouTube?
Khan, that's on YouTube. That's the Jackie tapes. You can find that right on YouTube.
Sir, go on.
Shalom, Most High in Christ. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Barakatah.
Shalom, Yabashim Shabbat.
Shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shem Shabbat.
All right, we gonna get right back into this. The Jackie tapes.
Was the civil rights thing something
Hey, what's going on, Ak? Everything too well?
Everything's well.
God. We shall wait for the officer to get back. Um, just lost having some technical issues at the moment. Should be able to fix that in a hot second. Just bear with us for a moment. All right, just bear with us. Just having a bit of technical difficulties. Should be back on momentarily. So water. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna be speaking. Oh, Slack.
All right, we're back. We're back. Shalom, Ak. Salakia, Ak. I can't hear you. All right, so we're back. We're back. We're gonna get back right into this, right? So those Jackie tapes, you could just go go on YouTube and check out the Jackie tapes for yourself. The long story of those Jackie tapes is, I'll make it short for you, that her husband, who was the president at the time, heard some tapes, right, about Martin Luther King, and it was basically surveillance tapes of him ordering women and men to his house to have a orgy, to have parties, right, to do indecent sexual acts, to fall to his lust. He wasn't stronger than his flesh, right? So he fell. That's what he fell to. So we're gonna get right back into it. Salakia for those technical difficulties that we had, right? So Martin Luther King, he wasn't a prophet by no means. He basically destroyed the black community. He destroyed us by giving us a false sense of, if we go and join hand with our oppressors, that everything's gonna get better, right? So we believe that through the Christian pastors and our leaders who led us down the wrong path. We believe that going to our oppressors and begging for equality and begging to vote in their system and begging to be participants in their system, that we would have gotten a fair shake in society, right? But that's totally wasn't the case. Like, you look at your neighborhoods right now, and you'll see that Martin Luther King's dream, it was not a dream for us. It was a dream for him to sleep with more white women, right? It was a dream for him to eat more pork. It was a dream for him and his bougie black friends to dine in the bougie white restaurants and establishments and eat food with no flavor. When Pop Joe down the road was making the best food that you could ever go to, right? Till this day, the best spots to go to dine are the black restaurants, the Hispanic restaurants, and the Native American restaurants, right? Till this day, the best clubs that you want to go to are the ones where they play black music, right? We didn't need to join their society, right? We were doing good on our own. So we're gonna jump right into it and go to our second topic that we're gonna talk about, right? So first, before we get into that, Trooper Urad, you good? Salakia, Trooper, I can't hear you. Law, Trooper, I can't hear you. Maybe try to back out and get back in. Right, so before we get any further, right? Martin Luther King was famous for saying that he had a dream, right? His dream, again, was a nightmare, right? He was a liar. His dream made it seem like it would be everything would be tawab, everything would be good.
Shalom, sir. Shalom. Can you hear me?
Hey, Shalom, I got you. I can hear you loud and clear now.
Go.
I got you. All right, you got your sword? Can you go to Jeremiah 23 and 25? Right? So Martin Luther King, his dream was not a dream for us. It was a dream for him. It turned out to be a nightmare. All it got us was no businesses, no economy, no leadership, no it got us crack cocaine.
Right.
That's what his dream got us. Crack cocaine and heroin in every neighborhood that we live. Right? Gunshots and no brotherhood in every neighborhood that we live in. That was Martin Luther King's dream, right? For us to still be up under Pharaoh and Master. Right. Whenever you got it, Ak.
Con, so I got it right here. Uh, Jeremiah chapter, the book of Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 25. Jeremiah 23 and verse 25, and it reads, I have heard what the prophet said. The prophecy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed.
Right. So, pull that back. Let me catch up with you. Pull that back.
Jeremiah 23, verse 25. I've heard what the prophet said. The prophesy lies in my name.
Right. So there are men going around saying they're prophets, and they're prophesying lies in the Most High's name. Right. So these lies are like we get down with this system, we're gonna have a better chance. Right. They're prophesying lies. They're saying that they love their people when they don't love their people. They're telling their people to go back right into the hands of their enemies. That's what these lies. They're making it seem like the enemies aren't our enemies anymore. Read.
Saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed.
Right. So these prophets are saying they have dreamed. I have dreamed. Right. Martin Luther King got up in front of a million brothers and sisters and said, I have a dream. Right. That's what he told us. He said, I have a dream that we're gonna be hand in hand with our oppressors. And where did that get us? Right. That got a brother choked out with a knee on his neck for 8 minutes, right? That got brothers with their hands up getting shot at. That's what his dream was, right? So he said he has a dream. He has a dream. His dream was a nightmare for us. It didn't do nothing for us, right? Till this day, like we're still stuck in the ghettos and the barrios and the reservations, right?
Right,
Because we believe that equality is gonna make us on a level playing field with our oppressors, right? Even when we went out to the reservation, right? They had oppressors on the reservation with them, right? So they were trying to fight oppressors with oppressors,
mm,
thinking that quality is gonna that equality that they're trying to get is gonna help them, when it did nothing for them, right? Trooper Urad, read that one more time, Baba Kasha.
God, sir. I've heard what the prophet said. The prophesy lies in my name.
Right,
Say,
the white man loves you.
lies,
Read.
Salakia.
God,
Said that prophet lies in my name.
we can vote,
The prophesy lies in my name.
right? So they prophesize lies in the name. Let's just vote for this oppressor, and everything's gonna get so much better. Read.
Lies in my name. Saying, I have dreamed. I have dreamed.
Right.
How
So
long,
so they lied. Right. Read 26.
how long shall this be in the heart of the prophets, the prophesy lies?
Right. So Martin Luther King Jr., he was prophesying lies to us. Right. He didn't love us. He got us beat up and killed over the right to vote for an oppressor that doesn't care about you. Right. You think that voting is gonna help you. Which devil did you vote for? Right. And did they come back to the ghetto after they walked through and smiled, and then you were seduced by that smile, and you went and voted for that devil? What did they do for you? Is your neighborhood still getting shot up? Is there drugs still in your neighborhood today? Are your sisters still on the pole and still being prostitutes and whores? Right. Are abortions still happening? What did they prophesy and lie to you about? Read.
Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart.
Right. So Martin Luther King was after his own heart. He had a lust for his college girlfriend in hopes that he can marry her. So that's what he wanted, right? But then he got pushed to the head of the civil rights, and they used him as the poster child for the civil rights movement. One moment. Hey, Shalom, Mark, Most High in Christ.
Shalom, brother.
Right. So when they used him as the poster child for the civil rights movement, he knew that his image would be better with a sister, and it would come through better. He could be used as the pawn that he was if he had a sister on his side. Right. So he told us to be hand in hand with our oppressors, and that literally made us feel like we can have a pet viper, right? And just you just have a pet viper, or you can have a pet, what's another deadly animal? You can have a pet Komodo dragon, and it's not going to turn into a Komodo dragon on you. It's going to be your best friend, right? Trooper Shayuan, Baba Kasha, can you get me Ezra 9 and 12? Right? So that's what our oppressors wanted, right? They wanted us to be in love with them, and that's who your leaders are today. Your leaders today are in love with them, right? Your sports players are not leaders, but they every second all they do is care about themselves and which master they can impress today, right? And they idolize Martin Luther King and white Jesus, Caesar Borgia, right? That's what our celebrities, our fake celebrity leaders do, right? If they're not prophesying lies, they're trying to sell us a dream,
Right.
right? Whenever you have it, Doc.
This is Ezra chapter 9 and verse 12. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek
Right.
their.
Read that one more time from the top.
Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons.
Right. So Martin Luther King, he said, I have a dream that will be hand in hand with our oppressors, right? Read that one more time for the top.
Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons.
Wait. Didn't Martin Luther King want us hand in hand? Right? So if he was a preacher, right, he's a pastor, and the Lord is supposed to be with him, how comes he didn't know this? Right? Give me that one more time from the top, because like we need this to come out, like, so our people can realize that the people that our oppressors hold in high esteem are always bad for us. If they hold him in high esteem, he's bad for us. Right? So they hold Martin Luther King in high esteem because he said he had a dream, right? That we'd wake up one day and still be under our damn slave master. That was his stinking dream. Right? But when you read in the Old Testament, and Ezra's is telling you to give not your daughters to their sons, right? Coincidentally, you see it on TV right now that every commercial is interracial marriage, and it's always a sister with some damn stinking pale skinned devil. Right? That's Martin Luther King's dream. Right? So they could all go to the swingers party and have a big orgy. Like just the other day, Martin Luther King's dream was that super spreader in LA. That orgy party that just got ticketed in LA. That was Martin Luther King's dream. That's what he was doing in his hotel during the Million Man March, ordering whores. Right? Continue reading that, Doc.
Neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever.
Right? So our so-called leaders right now who learn from Orgy Mike to take the bag, that's what they do. They go to the devil and they ask for that bag, right? That's why you see these fake leaders at every political event, right? And what do they always say? Don't fight back, just take it. That's all they ever say. Don't fight back, just take it. They'll give some speech about how we're being oppressed and it's not right and we need justice now. Then they go in the back room, they shake that devil's hand, they take that bag, and they're out. Right? To buy more drugs, to buy more pork, shrimp, and lobster, right? To buy more prostitutes, right? And they don't use that money to help the community at all.
Right.
Right? Was there any more to that, Ak? Read.
That ye may be strong.
Right? So we got to be strong, right? And the only way to be strong is in this truth. Once you start keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, that's how you be strong, right? Bring me back to Salakia right after sons.
Come.
Right after
Neither
daughters onto your sons, right there.
Come. Nor seek their peace or their wealth forever.
Right? So I know that my people aren't living in the best conditions right now. And I know that we're downtrodden and the oppressor's been keeping us down for the longest time, right? But seek not after what and envy the oppressor's riches, right? Those riches don't mean anything. Those our reward is in the kingdom that's coming. Right? Seek that reward. Even though we're poor right now, we're rich, right? So when you see the fake leaders that led us into death trap after death trap after death trap after death trap, right? And you see them with the bag that they got from the devil, don't seek after it. Don't want to be like that. Right? That because you can see it right now that this oppressor's kingdom is falling. Right? It is falling. Like Babylon is falling. Like you see our oppressors killing each other. Right? They're warring with each other right now over who's gonna get the slaves. It's always about who's gonna get the slaves. Right? Is the right gonna get the slaves or the left side gonna get the slaves? That's what they're arguing about. That's why the same blue lives that mattered, they killed in the Capitol. Right? Continue reading that, Ak.
Come. That ye may be strong and eat the good of the land.
Right? And we don't get to eat the good of the land. We're getting the scraps and the leftovers, right? That's what we're getting. Like we're trying to seek their wealth and getting pennies. That's what we're getting. We're getting nothing. Like a group of so-called leaders tried to go and ask the devil for reparations. Right? So y'all put in Sleepy Joe and y'all put in office that East Indian and find out if they're going to give you reparations, right? They're not giving you nothing except more jail time, more drugs, and more abortions, right? And definitely you're going to see more police shootings, right? That's what your oppressors are going to give you, right? So you voted for them, and they're not going to do nothing for you. Read.
And leave it for an inheritance to your children forever.
Right? So what are we leaving to our children right now? Like what are we leaving to your children right now? That's the question you got to figure out, right? Because We want the kingdom, right? In the I.S.U.P.K, we want the kingdom. We don't want this kingdom. This kingdom could burn. Like we don't want this kingdom. This kingdom is falling, right? So what are you leaving for your children as an inheritance? Are you going to leave them more sin, or are you going to teach them the law so they can inherit a kingdom with a black king that's going to fight for you, right? A black king named Yahawashi. Right, so they think that there's equality in like Martin Luther King. He was fighting for equality so hard, but he didn't realize, right? Because he's like, just like every Christian pastor, like that you can't ask a question and get your question answered from. Just like every Christian pastor, they don't read the Bible, right? They have the scriptures that they were taught in their college, right? That they memorize. That's what they have, and those they might read like one line and then just go off on whatever their heart tells them to go off on, right? In the I.S.U.P.K, we read this Bible, we break down this Bible line for line, right? Word for word, bring it right back to the Hebrew. That's what we do, right? So Martin Luther King, he thought he could go to our oppressors and get equality, right? That like all that got us was nothing, a whole fat pile of nothing. We can't be equal. How can you be equal with a man that put you in slavery, right? Blood begets blood. Like you can't once you defile the land with blood, you gotta to purify the land. You gotta the blood that of the one that shed the blood to defile the land has to be spilled. Right, so don't think like I don't know what Martin Luther King was thinking. Salakia, can you bring me to Trooper Yerad? Bring me to Second Ezra's 6:56. Right, and Trooper Shah Yuan, get me Deuteronomy 20:28-9, because we're gonna find out if there's equality. Right, like Martin Luther King wanted to love his oppressors so bad, and he wanted to be his oppressors. And where did it get us? Right, with the oppressors over us, you gotta go to rent, and you gotta go give the oppressor money. Right, you want to get a job, you gotta go to your oppressor. Right, and half the time you can't even go to the oppressor as yourself. You got to pull your braids out to go get that job, depending on the job. Some jobs they want us to cut our hair off, right? And when I say jobs, I say that loosely because in the I.S.U.P.K we call them slaveries.
Salaki, sir.
Khan,
Salaki, the precept you said was 2nd Ezra 6:52.
56. Right, so you can think you have a job, but really it's a slavery because we're still in slavery at this moment. Let me get right with you. Second Ezra's. Whenever you got that, Ak.
2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 56. As for the other people,
Right, so the other people, meaning there's a people that this book is talking about, right, and is about and is for, and the salvation in this book, right? This book right here is for that people. That's the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. But as for the other people that are in the world that like to murder and beat and keep the Israelites in Salakia servitude, as for those people,
concert, which also come from Adam,
right? So those people, they also come from Adam as well. Read.
though, or Salakia, thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are something.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are mightier than the children of Israel.
They are nothing.
They are greater than the children of Israel.
Thou said that they are nothing.
Right? So they're nothing. The Lord thinks that other people that aren't the children of Israel are nothing. Martin Luther King should have read his Apocrypha, right? But that's what happens when you go to your oppressor to learn your history and to learn your book, right? They don't teach you what's in your book. They took this Apocrypha out, right? Because this Apocrypha cuts them. That's why they took this Apocrypha out.
Right.
Right, so this Apocrypha cuts them so deep to the core that they took it out. They didn't want it in. Right, that's why when you go to a silly Christian on the street and you back up the Apocrypha, they look like, oh my gosh, like what is that? It's an Apocrypha. Like, no, run, you can't bring it out. And it's like, what do you mean I can't bring it out? Right, so those people, they are nothing. Read.
But be like unto spittle.
Right, so they be like onto spittle. So Martin Luther King didn't know the other nations. He wanted us to be hand in hand with spit. Like, can you imagine, like that's the mind of a man who doesn't think much of himself or his people. Right, I want you to hang out with some spit right quick. Like, he didn't like us, he didn't love us. He can't say he loved us. He wanted us to be friends with the people who were killing us, right? Who were blowing up and bombing churches. So what? So you could go get a disgusting flavorless apple pie from so and so diner, from Esau's diner. You wanted apple pie from Esau's diner. So we had to hang with nothing. Read.
And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Right. So the majority, 99.9%, like Maury show, of them are nothing. Like, they're like that little splash of water from your cup. This is one of my favorite scriptures, right, to read. Right, when you think about the oppressors, you just remind yourself that they are nothing. The Most High doesn't regard them, and he's gonna set them in their place under our foot. Right? My favorite type of oppressor is the one that's on his knees kissing shiny UPK boots. That's my favorite oppressor. Right? I pray the Akim get to experience a boot kiss, man. One boot kiss will change your whole life.
Just now, sir. Salaki.
Come, Most High in Christ. Right? Trooper Shaywan, bring me to Deuteronomy 28:9. Right, so Martin Luther King did nothing but sell us down the river, right? So even for the things that Martin Luther King did, we lost so much, right? Who knows? We're gonna look for that in a second, right? We're gonna look for Salaki. I'll find it in a couple seconds, right? But the first black college and the last black college, that's what we're gonna find out when those were built, right? What happened to all the black teachers in the black schools? Because our kids had to learn. Who was teaching our kids when we were separate? Black teachers. So what happened to them? They lost their jobs. They were pushed out, right? Some of them were sent to the oppressor schools, and they tried to get in over there because their schools weren't being funded no more, because now we can go to the oppressor schools, right? And what also happened to our schools? Oppressors started coming to our schools. Right? So you got to think about that. A man that hates you is now teaching your little girl. You have a little precious young daughter. You have a young boy in your house, and his mind is being molded as he explores the world around him. And that oppressor is molding his mind. That oppressor is telling him, you ain't shit. You're gonna go to jail soon. Right? So much of us have heard that from our oppressors. The ones that are supposed to be teachers. The ones that are supposed to teach us how to be good people, right? Trooper Shaw, you want to read that whenever you got it?
Come. It's Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 9. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee.
Right? So he swore to our forefathers that he would make us a special people, a holy people. And he made a covenant with Abraham, right? And he swore unto us that we were special and we were a holy people, right? Holy meaning separate, right? We were different, a peculiar people. We're not the same. Think about it. Blacks, my brothers and sisters, you Black Hispanics and Native Americans, right? You know you're not the same as everybody else in the world. You know you have the flavor, right? But you lost your flavor, right? Because you're not with the Lord's not with you at the moment. Because you're not trying to do what he wants you to do. So you lost your flavor. That's why oppressors could snatch you up out of cars and kill you like they killed our sister Sandra Bland over cigarettes. That's why oppressors could kill the sister that they killed at the DC Capitol, right? Who was having a nervous breakdown. They greenlit her. They sent 100 shots at her, right? One shot beat at the riot at the Capitol. One. And they put that dog in the dirt, right? That off one shot, they were crushing the same blue line that they loved indoors and taking off the blue line's helmet and smashing their head, right? And pepper spraying them and pulverizing them with the same American flag that they said Kaepernick was disrespecting, right? But we're a holy people. We're better people than everybody else on the earth. We're supposed to be the judges on the earth, right? Read. Salakia.
Salaki, what's that, sir?
No, I was asking if there was any more to that scripture. Huh?
Oh, come on. If thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways.
Right? So what does it mean to walk in his ways?
Salaki, to do what he says, to obey him.
Right. So also, Khan, you're right. That is definitely right. But take me home, bring me home. We're gonna walk in the Most High's ways. What are we doing?
We're keeping his commandments.
Right, we're keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Let's get that trooper a hand, right? Right. See, we got some strong brothers in Canada, right? Like you see these strong brothers. They're on this channel and damn near every video, right? It doesn't matter how late it is. Sometimes we get home off the slavery, we're kind of tired, but we still keep it going, right? So you got to get like these brothers, put on all black for 90 days. Like sisters, you too, get into school 90 days, get a name, right? Learn these laws, statutes, and commandments, and be that holy people that the Lord wanted us to be, right? You got to walk in his ways. You got to keep the law. Right? Let's see where we're going next. Right? So another thing that I wanted to speak on, right, that Martin Luther King ushered in, right? So there's a saying, right? When you grow up in the ghetto, there's a saying, the only way you make it out is if you got a nice jump shot, you got some rap skills, or crack rock, right? And I was like Salakia, when I was in the world, I was good at two of those things. Two of those things got me nowhere in life. Like absolutely nowhere in life. But it was a journey I had to go on, and it brought me right home. I got to see what it was like to not have the I.S.U.P.K, and I got to see what it's like to have the I.S.U.P.K. And to not have the I.S.U.P.K is tragic. Right? It's tragic. It's a lot of heartbreak. It's a lot of stress. You need counselors in your life who's gonna check you and tell you when you're doing wrong. Right? Who's gonna give you the right guidance so you could do right. right? So that's what you got to do. You got to come home. Slovakia, where were we? That was the end of that scripture, right?
Okay.
Con. So what happened? Where was I at? What happened is we lost like the whole point of that was that we had leagues. We had a Negro league in baseball and in basketball, right? Salakia, does the Akim know what the last team in the Negro league for basketball is right now?
So, um,
No, sir.
No sweat. I'll give it right to you.
can't remember.
Right? Don't worry about it. No sweat, man. I'll give it right to you, man. It shocked me when I found out too. And when I found out, I realized how destroyed we were. The last team in the Negro Basketball League is the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh,
Wow, right? So it's like, oh, like,
right,
and what have they been reduced to?
right.
Right? They've been reduced to a circus act.
Mm.
The best athletes in the world are reduced to a circus act, right? Where do all the good athletes from the neighborhood go? They try to make it to the NBA. Who runs the NBA? Not a black man, not a Hispanic man, and not a Native American. Where does that money from the NBA go to? Theology, you miss a lot, but this is YouTube, man. You can pull it back up. Shalom, Most High in Christ. The water for tuning in, right? Make sure you hit that like button, right? So we had leagues, right? That money from those leagues don't go to the black community, right? We had the Negro Basketball League and the Negro Baseball League. None of the money from the leagues that are active right now go to our community, right? So the Negro Basketball League, we had so many good players, and now they're in the NBA. They're getting money, but at any time they could be fired. They could be fined, right? Like if you pay attention to sports, they just fined Kyrie Irving 50 grand because he hasn't been there for a few days because like who knows what's happened in his life, but he got fined 50 grand, right? That's a $40 million slave, right? We had a black baseball league and we had some of the best baseball players come are Salakia. Let me correct my statement. All of the best baseball players are black and Hispanic, right? Salakia. let me correct my statement right quick. Right? So all of them are black, native, and Hispanic, right? They took Jackie Robinson. Once Jackie Robinson got in, it started a trickle down effect. Right? Now there's no black baseball league. Right? Those leagues fed the communities. People would come from all over to go watch a Negro basketball league game or a Negro baseball league game around the different cities that we lived, right? That means the tailor got money, the dry cleaner got money, the restaurants got money, the hotels got money, and those are all in our neighborhoods. The mechanic got money because surely your car was going to break down, right? Everyone got money. Now we're not getting money, and like the money that we make is not enough. Right? You go to the black, Hispanic, and Native American community and ask them how much money do they have saved, right? And you'll be surprised at the answer. Or you won't be surprised because you know you're living in a nightmare. You're living in hell. Right? Salakia, Trooper Shayuan, bring me to 2 Samuel 24 and 14. Baba Kasha.
Okay.
Right? So our oppressors, they secretly acted like they didn't like the idea of civil rights, but that was a well executed plan, right? Sometimes you gotta put something right in someone's face to hide the thing that's coming up behind their back. And that's basically what the civil rights movement is. It looked good right in front of our face. Oh, you get to vote and be a part of our system, right? Until you figure out exactly what the system is, that you're right at the bottom being grind to nothing, right to dust. Salakia, let me get with you right quick. All right, you can read it when you got it.
This is 2 Samuel 24 and 14. And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait. Let us fall now into the hand of the Lord, and let me not fall into the hand of man.
Right? So there was a time when David, like, he sinned. He had that one sin. Hey, Shalom, Trooper Baraki Allah, Most High in Christ. Glad you could be tuning in. Right? This class is definitely fire, man. Like, we started up the class earlier and they tried to shut us down. But we keep rocking. We're gonna keep rocking, right? So there was a time when David, he sinned and the Most High was gonna punish him, right? So the Most High gave him the option of fall to my hand or fall to the oppressor's hand. So that's what we're reading. Bring it back from the top, Ak.
And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait. Let us fall now into the hand of the Lord, and let me not fall into the hand of man.
Right? So David knew that it's better to fall to the hand of the Lord than to fall to the hand of man. And that's why Martin Luther King is a traitor. That's why Martin Luther King did nothing for us. That's why we don't celebrate that man. That's why we know that that man was full of lust. You can see his fruits, right? He wanted to fall to the hand of man. We're in the ghetto falling to the hand of man, right? You gotta come back to the Lord. You'd much rather fall to the hand of the Lord. And we know that the Lord's wrath is nothing to play with. Right? The Lord's wrath is nothing to play with. He sent a plague that's locked down, that basically there was no 2020. Carabana was canceled. Right? You sisters and brothers didn't get to go naked in the streets and dance around. Carabana was canceled. Right? Christmas was canceled. New Year's was canceled. Valentine's Day dinners is going to be canceled. Right? You're not going to get to go to the steakhouse and Cocobanas and spend all the money that you could be saving to buy a house for Valentine's Day. That's canceled. It's done. Right? It's over. Right? So David knew it's better to fall to the hands of man, to the Salakia, to the hands of the Most High, and not the hands of man. Martin Luther King, he didn't care about that. He said, forget this book. I'm going to fall to the hands of man. That's what Martin Luther King wanted. He wanted to fall to the hands of man. Right? Trooper Urad, get me Matthew 22 and 30. Right? So Martin Luther King, he loved himself. He loved his heart. He loved his flesh. He loved prostitutes and whores and hotel rooms. Right? He loved orgies. Orgy Mike. Right? Mike King. Like when you do your research and you find out that his name's not even Michael. His name's not even Martin. Right? Mike King, Orgy Mike. He didn't love his people. He didn't love his brothers. He didn't want his brothers to be in their rightful position in the earth. Right? So get me whenever you got it, bring me to Matthew 22 and 30.
Come, sir. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 30. And it reads, For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are...
Yes,
Okay.
Let me catch up with you. I don't
Gotcha.
think I gave you the right one. Damn.
So I was reading Salaki, sir, if I could. I was reading chapter Matthew 22 and verse 30. Matthew 20. That's what I was reading, sir.
No, Salaki, I was looking for 1 second.
No problem, sir.
I was looking for find me
Come on, sir.
get love your brothers as ye love yourselves. That's what I was looking for. I gave you the wrong script.
Come on, sir.
Right? And Trooper Shah, you want get me Proverbs 11 and 21?
Okay.
Right? Whenever you have it, Trooper, you can read.
Salaki, sir, is that the like the commandment that Christ gave?
Khan.
I got a Matthew 22. Salaki, Matthew 22 and verse 39, sir.
Khan, that one right there.
Salaki, you want me to read it? Or
Khan.
come on. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 29. Salaki. Verse 39. Matthew 22 and verse 39.
Bring me one more up. Go to 38.
Kanakan. This is Matthew 22 and verse 28. Right, sir? 28?
38.
Oh, 38.
Khan.
Kanakan, sir. This is the, Salaki. This is the first and great commandment. Verse 39. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Right? So the first commandment was love the Lord with all thy heart. The second commandment is love thy neighbor as thee love thyself, right? If MLK loved us, he would not have put us in a burning house. He wouldn't have put us hand in hand with the oppressors, right? MLK didn't love us. He hated us, right? He didn't love us like he loved himself. He loved his own heart. Trooper Shah, you got that Proverbs?
Okay. This is Proverbs 11 and 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
Right? So even though we might, our people might be hand in hand with the oppressors, don't think that they're not going to get their punishment. But here's the kicker: if you're hand in hand with them and God's swinging a sword, who do you think the sword is going to go into next? Right? So you got to come out of the spirit of the oppressors and love your people and love the Lord by keeping his commandments. That's what you got to do. Right? And Martin Luther King was not Joseph. Right? Joseph went into Egypt and his brothers came on to him, and Joseph, even though his brothers sold him, he still had brotherhood and mad love for his brothers, that he said he brought his people down. Right? And when those 75 souls went into Egypt, he separated them because Joseph knew that it was better to be separate. Right? And he separated them and he gave them their own business. Right? He basically gave them their own business. Like the Egyptians, they didn't like sheep herders. So Joseph gave them the monopoly on all the wool. Right? And that's how he started to become more mighty in Egypt until we met up into a pharaoh that didn't know the pharaoh of the past, and he didn't know Joseph, and he decided because we were too mighty now that we had to go into subjugation, right? While Joseph was, for the genius that he was, for the smart brother that he was, while Joseph was keeping us separate in Egypt, Martin Luther King, or G. Mike, was telling us run to the oppressors. Right? Go and live with the oppressors. Go marry the oppressors. Like those are the sins that Martin Luther King was telling us to do. Right? Salakia, Trooper Urab, Bring me to Proverbs 8 and 44. Slakia. Bring me to John 8 and 44. Right? We're gonna tell you who Martin Luther King, who his father was. Cause in here our spiritual father is Commanding General YAHANNA, right?
Right.
Right? He the I.S.U.P.K we're under Christ and under the Most High, right? Through the Most High under Christ. Salakia. Right? So the Most High is he's the real boss, right? But our school, we're under Christ, right? That's how we're supposed to get down. So we keep the laws, right? Because we know that Christ shed his blood so we can have grace and that we weren't killed. So we're keeping the laws. We're recognizing Christ's brotherly sacrifice. We're recognizing how much he loved us and how much he was willing to die for us, right? That we start to keep his laws, right? But your pastor, your imam, and your spiritual leader, and all the people who aren't in the I.S.U.P.K who tell you what to do, right? This was them, especially Martin Luther King. Salakia, whenever you have it, you can read it.
This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Right.
Which Salakia? Which verse did you read?
Oh, Salaki, sir, I read 32, sir.
Salakia, 44 is what I wanted.
Yes, sir. Verse 44. John 8, 44. Ye are of your father, the devil.
Right, Orgy Mike was of his father, the devil. He wanted to be just like them devils. He wanted to vote like them devils. He wanted to sip them stupid dry ass martinis like them devils. He wanted that apple pie with like them devils. Right? He thought that if only if we could vote, right? Only if we could vote, like voting's ever worked. What has voting worked out to do for us? Right? Martin Luther King wanted to be like his father, the devil. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. It's not talking about the man with the horns and the red tail that Christianity paints for you.
Right.
Right? The devil's the man that you go and say, boss, I'm sorry for being late. And he's like, well, Nicholas, you know that if you're late 2 more times, I gotta let you go. Right? That's the devil. Right? Read.
Sir. And the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it.
Right, so he's a liar and the father of it, right? Like we just witnessed how our oppressors are very childish and very fragile, and we just witnessed how they will literally kill each other over the ownership of us, over who's gonna own the slaves. Why would you want to be a slave? Right? Why would you want to be a slave? Slovakia. Right, so that's who Orgy G Mike was about. That's what he was about. Right, I don't know what this person is saying. Something about a better life. He wanted a better life. Like we didn't get a better life after civil rights. We lost all our businesses. We had Haji and Hamaj and them in our convenience stores, and Mr. Chin in our convenience stores selling us loose cigarettes and loose Century Sands and Phillies, right? As teenagers, that's what we got. That's the life we had. Like as a teenager right now, you can go to any convenience store with a Moabite or an Ammonite working, and they're gonna sell you a loose blunt. They're not gonna ask for ID, right? They don't care if that child's 15 with a school uniform on. They're gonna sell them that blunt. That's the life we got.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on.
If I could, right, sir, what you're saying is so heavy, sir. You know, because I mean, this guy is supposed to be our leader, right, Martin
Right.
Luther, and he went after like these devils, you know, like the so-called white men. You know what I mean? And you know, I just wanted to add a precept, sir, if I could, right,
Come
regarding
on.
what you're talking, sir. Sir, if I could, right, I got Acts chapter 5 and Salakia, verse 29, and it reads, "Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, 'We ought to obey God rather than men.'"
Right. Right. So that's definitely true that we gotta, like, we're supposed to obey God. Like we obeyed Dr. Martin Luther King when he said go run and walk across this bridge and get beat up and killed so we can get to try to vote. Right? When the Most High told us not to vote. Trooper Shayuan, can you get me that precept where the Most High tells us not to set a heathen over us? Right? So we obeyed Martin Luther King and ran into that burning house, even though we knew it was going to be on fire. Right? Only a man who doesn't care about his people will risk his people so he can go eat in his enemy's restaurant.
Right.
Right? Like was it really worth it? Right? And you've seen how the Lord, like when you know the ending of MLK's story, you know the Lord was not with him. Right? If the Lord killeth and maketh alive, clearly the Lord was not with that man. Right? Trooper Urad, get me Daniel 7:25. And then I got one more article we're gonna read as we'll break that down for the last part of the class.
Yes, sir. I have it here for you.
Salakia, I wanted that precept from Trooper Shayuan first.
Sir.
No sweat. Trooper Shayuan, you got it?
It's in Deuteronomy 17, starting at verse 14.
Khan, when you got it, read it.
Oh, okay. It says Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 14. When thou art come unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee.
Right. Right. So Salakia, hold that right there. Hold that right there, right? So we're setting oppressors over us every 4 years, like municipality or provincial or federal election. We set oppressors over us, right? And you guys got to take in this whole funny game, right? Because like I like to play chess, and politics to me is like it's like a silly game of chess that oppressors play with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? So let's go in, since this is the history class, right? Orgy Mike got us into this love the oppressors. So we had an oppressor that was a crackhead in the city of Toronto, right? Every black person voted for that oppressor. He got found out for smoking crack with some Somalians, right? The Somalians, they told on him and they all got fucked up over it. Salakia, pardon my French, right? Now, this oppressor's brother tries to run for mayor. They say, nah, you're the crack, your brother's a smoke crack. We can't have you. He said, all right. He ran for the bigger office and won premier. Because at the end of the day, Toronto might be multicultural, but the rest of Ontario doesn't care about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They have the Native Americans on reserves. Right? So now that oppressor, he got the office. Right? There was a whole bunch of black people and a whole bunch of other heathens that were going to run for city council spots in Toronto. They added more seats. That oppressor who didn't get to become the mayor, he said, ha 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 ha, guess what? This is a game for me. I'm going to change the rules. And he knocked off half of the seats. Right? So that's to show you voting is nothing. Right? You can have a job for an oppressor 1 second and it's gone the next because voting is nothing. Right? Finish reading that,
Come. Whom the Lord thy God shall choose.
Right? So the Lord is going to choose our king, and he chose our king. We got a strong alpha male for a king. His name is Yahawashi in the Hebrew. The world ignorantly calls him Jesus Christ. And a people with no culture, they tried to paint their face as him. Right? So we got brothers and sisters looking at a white image of Christ, right? A so-called image of Christ that's not the image of Christ. Christ is a black man. Go read that in Revelations chapter 1 verse 13. Right? Your feet match your face. Right? I had a Christian today try to give me a flyer with a white image of Christ. I asked her if Christ had an image and a skin color. She said, well, yeah, he walked the earth. I said, does his feet match does your feet match your face? She said, yeah. I said, so did Christ's feet match his face? She said, yeah. I said, so why are you giving me this white image of Christ? Right? She said, well, it doesn't say his color in the book. I just had to walk away and thank the Lord that I'm in the UPK. Right? And on top of that, she was a heathen too, an Elamite. Right? So Trooper Sharyuan, keep reading that.
One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee.
Right? So you have no right to tell your people to set a heathen over them. Right? The Lord chose our king, Christ. He's coming back. Right? We don't know the date or the hour, but he's coming back. The Lord chose our king. You have no right to tell your brothers and sisters, put a heathen over you. Read.
Which is not thy brother.
Right? And they're not our brother or our sister. And they just flip-flop and they decide which disgusting rules they wanna. You put a heathen over you, and you're gonna have Esau riding down the street naked on Young Street in the middle of the daytime. That's what happens when you put a heathen over you, because they say that's okay. They say it's tawab to happen. You put a heathen over you, and now you have legal abortions in your neighborhood. Right? So Salakia, Trooper Sharyuan, look up get me no man can serve two masters.
Oh, okay.
Right? Find that for me. Whenever you get it, let me know. Right? So we're gonna go into what do we got next? Okay, so yeah, let's go to this article right quick. Right? So Kanak, what was that?
Oh, so like I was holding Daniel 7:25 for you. I don't know if
You're holding Daniel 7:25. We never got to that. Okay, yeah, Tawab. That's Tawab, right? So technology, man. I'm happy this truth is out too, but if you're in Canada, why don't I know you? Right? I ain't trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to say, like, if you're happy this truth is coming out, you got to do what I did. I heard this truth when I was at my lowest, right? And I was happy this truth was coming out. I was at my lowest, and I said, as soon as I get a chance, I'm running full steam ahead. So why aren't you in all black? Right? Now I'm assuming you're a brother. I'm not sure if you're a brother or a sister, but you should. Long story short, you got to get in this school.
Right.
You're happy this truth is coming out, and you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American. Get in this school. Reserve your spot at for the dinner in the kingdom. Now, like, just make your election sure.
Right.
Like, don't get caught up in that thermonuclear war, right? Because you know they have nukes and they're ready to use them. The fat man that's across the sea, he's been testing his rockets out, and as soon as he can figure out that computer chip, like his cousins do, he's sending a couple somewhere,
Damn right. Damn right, sir. That's right.
right? And as soon as that happens, I'm just waiting for that sky to crack. 200 million angels, right, being led by an alpha male named Christ, Yahushua.
That's right.
Right? Whenever you got that, Daniel, drop that.
Con, sir. Yes, sir. I got this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and
Right?
things
So
change.
bring that back from the top.
God, sir. Con. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and
Con,
shall,
all right. Con sis. Right? So you got to get in this school, sis. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You got to get in this school. That's what you do if you're happy this truth is coming out.
that's right.
Right? The water again for tuning in. Right? So drop that one more time from the
Con.
top.
Yes, sir. The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
Right, so those great words is the pastor is good, right? That's that Christianity mark of the beast. We know that the mark of the beast is Christianity, and they try to teach us great words, like they speak these great words against the Most High, saying don't hate your oppressors, and we're not all bad, and don't look for safety, and forgive the person who kills your son. Right? Forgive that oppressor even though he shot your son 20 times in the back because he thought he had a cell phone.
Right.
Right? That's what those are the great words that they speak against the Most High. Christ is white. Those are great words. The Pope had what did they say? They say the Pope is a man of the Lord. Right? Those are the great words they speak against the Most High. Read.
Con. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Right? Salakia, who are the saints of the Most High?
Con, sir, if I could, right? The saints of
Con.
the Most High are the children of Israel, sir.
Right? So the saints of the Most High are the children of Israel. And the great words, go vote for your oppressor. Right? Biden 2021. Right? Those great words, those are the ones that are against the Most High. Those great words against the Most High, those are the words that are wearing out the saints. Right? We're like gears, you have two gears they're spinning and they have a specific rate that they're supposed to spin at, right? But then you keep throwing monkey wrenches into the gears while they're spinning faster and faster, and eventually those gears get worn out and they get all broken and chipped. They're like teeth, they get knocked out of place, right? That's what's happening to us every day, right? Soon there's going to be another Canadian election, and I hope the coronavirus is still around to where we can't have an election. right? That's what I prayed for. Because all you're going to see is our people in these line voting for their favorite oppressor that's not going to do nothing, right? Except go on vacation. The oppressor that you vote for is going to go on vacation, right? Read.
Yes, sir. Chapter 20, verse 25 in the middle. And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Right, so that's basically what's happening, right? So we're giving on to our oppressors at this moment, right? And eventually our oppressors are gonna have to answer for that, because if a man stealeth a man and that man is found in his hand, right, that just means Christ is gonna kill you, right? So let's get to this last article, right? So I'm gonna get this screen share popping right quick. Right? So black land loss in the United States, right? And we're about to go into this article right quick, and we're going to talk about the black land loss in the United States. Right? So if you could see this the share screen, just hit a 1 in the chat. If you can see it clearly, just hit a 1 in the chat.
Salakia, sir.
Kanak.
Are you able to zoom in a little?
Kanak, I'm going to do that right now. Throughout. All right, if you can see, if it's a little clearer for anybody watching on YouTube or Facebook, hit a 1 in the chat. Don't forget to hit that like button, like, subscribe, and share this video to the world. Put it on your Instagram, your Snapchat, your WhatsApp updates. Share this video to the world. Right? So, black land loss in the United States refers to the land loss of Salakia, refers to the loss of land ownership and rights by black people residing or farming in the United States. Right? So that was the black land loss. Right? In 1861 and in 1862, the United States government passed the Morrill and Homestead Acts, which were intended to give land grants to white Americans for colleges and for those seeking to farm, to seeking to land to farm, right? So we're gonna go down now that we know what it is, right? So after slavery was abolished and black Americans began seeking out land of their own, Special Field Order number 15 was issued through the Savannah Colloquy. The order issued freed black people 40 acres of land, Salakia, 40 acres of land that lay on the coastline of Georgia and South Carolina. In addition, the mules that had been used in the war, right? This is talking about the Civil War. So black slaves fought in the Civil War. Some were forced to fight for the South. Others fought for the North, right? And this war was not a war to free the slaves, because Lincoln didn't care to free the slaves. If he could have kept us in slavery, he would have. This war was for who was going to own the slaves, right? Who was going to own them with a collar on their neck, or who was going to own them with an invisible collar like the one around your neck in 2021, right? So in addition, the mules that had been used in the war were now idle, were expected to be offered to these black Americans for use in farming, leading to the phrase 40 acres and a mule. Right? Now, we wonder if they ever got those 40 acres and a mule. Right? So let's go down to the causes of the loss. right? 1865 marked the abolition of slavery with the creation of the 13th Amendment, and although many people were now free, they were still being restricted in some ways, right? So this is a common practice by our oppressors, where they'll dangle a carrot in front of you on a string, and every time you get enough to grab the carrot, they stretch the string out further, right? They depict that in cartoons. Like you've seen that so many times in Bugs Bunny, right? Today they call it moving the goalpost, where just when you're about to get to somewhere, they move the goalpost another 10 yards. And it's always another 10 yards and another 10 yards. And eventually you ran 1,000 football fields and you still didn't get a touchdown. Right? So that's what our oppressors do. It's the same thing they did to the children of the Mayflower, right? Those are Benjamites who came from the Caribbean to help build up the economy of British Columbia, right? And build up England, right? And they didn't basically they fought in the wars, they built back up England. A few years ago, they started deporting those people because they're saying they can't find their paperwork. Right, just like the devils, like just like the deceivers that they are. Apparently, their paperwork was never filed, so they were never registered citizens. Right, because the devil doesn't think that you matter. He doesn't care about you. Right, at the end of the day, they don't care. Look at out again in England. There was a soccer player who started organizing to give the poor people in the Black, Hispanics, and Native American neighborhoods in England food for a food program because they're not in school getting free food right now, right? Because you know that our people they live in poor areas, and sometimes some of our kids only eat with that free food program. So the parliament voted it down, and then this young soccer player, he decided to uphold it, right? Salaki, he didn't decide to uphold it. He did it on its own, and now the parliament, after they got shamed, they decided to give out free food. Go and watch the I.S.U.P.K UK and watch On the Ends radio, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Right? So let's get back into this where we're reading. Common issues causing land loss among free slaves and their descendants included lack of necessary paperwork and documents. Right, so they were making sure we didn't have any paperwork and documents. Right, in the years following 1865, newly freed slaves experienced difficulty acquiring land because there was a lack of documents that proved their identity. Right, so now they needed documents to prove their identity, and they couldn't acquire land because they didn't have the slave master paper for their identity, like the slave masters had their identities written down, right? Other than slave 1, 2, and 3, right? Sign for X. This was one of the ways that white people, right? The devil the Bible speaks of, right? It says it right here. This was one of the ways that white people, right? The devil the Bible speaks of, were able to restrict the freedom from acquiring status. Right, so the devil the Bible speaks of, they always have a trick up their sleeve. Right. So this is post Civil War, when slavery was abolished in 1865. Black Americans started to demand American land. One of the responses offered to their demands was Field Order 15, issued through what is famously referred to as the Savannah Colloquy. Right, 1 second. The order gave roughly 400,000 acres of land that lay on the coastline of Georgia and South Carolina to free slaves, in addition to mules that have been used in war and were now idle, that were to be offered to these Black Americans for use in farming. Right, so let's keep going. Let's see what we're looking for. Slovakia. 1 second. I'm just looking for something.
Gotcha.
Right here. When Black Americans finally gained citizenship in 1866, Congress passed the Southern Homestead Act. This act was meant to avail land in states such as Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi to acquisition. Slovakia. Wow. To acquisition by the people to acquisition. That word. To acquisition by the people, which included the Black population. The core of the act was the endeavor to give Black Americans a chance to buy land in these states, which Black Americans took advantage of, right? So that's showing you we took advantage of buying the land, right? So now let's find out what happened to the land. Though Black Americans' right to land was improving, their political and social rights, among others, were declining at a worrying pace, especially in the South, right? So we didn't have like the same rights that the white people had in their society. We weren't allowed in their stores or voting and stuff like that, but like it was a better time for Black people because we had to show brotherhood to each other. We had to rely on each other. Like if we needed a doctor, dentist, midwife, we had to go to someone Black, right? Just like Hispanics and Native Americans had to go to someone Hispanic or Native Americans. And we did at one point have a good relationship with Native Americans and our Hispanic brothers, right? So we were dealing with each other because we recognized that we all had the same oppressors and the same oppression.
Yeah.
Right? So we were definitely dealing with each other. That was a better time for us. Right? Let's get back. Let's get back to where we are. Salak. Hold up. Where do we want to get to? Right? So for a period after the Civil War, Black ownership of land increased and was primarily used for farming. At one point, Blacks had gained ownership of over about 15 million acres. Right? So I'm going to read that one more time for you, just so you can see where we were and where we are now in 2021. Right? At one point, Blacks had gained ownership over about 15 million acres, right? So think about that. At one point in the United States, Blacks had owned over 15 million acres in land, right? What do they got right now? They got our young brothers and sisters fighting over communities that they don't own, over drug real estate, right? Over crack blocks, they're going to war. Who's gonna get this crack block? Like who's from 63rd, like they say in Chicago, right? They be throwing up 63rd. They don't own 63rd, but they be throwing it up. And there's another murder every day by the dozens in Chicago.
Right.
Which meant that they were also in control of 14% of the farms located in the United States. That is 925,000 farms owned by Black people, right? That is a lot of land. Like how many farms do Black people own today, right? Leah Douglas observed that this number is drastically different from the 20th century figures, right? So the 20th century is the 1990s and up. So from those numbers are drastically different. In the 20th century, Black people not only owned far less land in general, but also owned only 2% of the farms located in the U.S. That's a 12% drop, right? If you know anything, a 12% drop might not seem like a lot. It is a lot. If you have a stock right now, right? Like for instance, Bitcoin stock is going up, right? If you put $50 of Bitcoin into your wallet in May and you turned around right now, that's probably worth about, and you kept it, it's worth about $300. If that took a 12% dip, you would notice it and you would be pissed off. And you would try to figure out how to get your Bitcoin out quick. Right? So we took a 12% dip in the farms and now we only have 2%. Right? So we got milk, 2%. That's what we got. We don't got the cow or the grass that the cow eats. We just got the milk that we got to go buy from the oppressors. Right? So where are we now? Let's keep going. The 90s. So let's go into the 90s, right? So remember, Martin Luther King is a traitor. He told us that we have to go into the stores and spend our money with the oppressors. He told us that we have to love our oppressors. He told us that black owned is not good, right? He told us that run from the black community and run up to the suburbs, right? Be hand in hand with their little children, right? He wanted our young daughters to sleep with young white men. He wanted our young brothers to sleep with young Edomite daughters, right? He wanted us to sleep with the daughter of Esau, right? He only cared about his disgusting pork eating, shrimp eating lust.
Right.
So we're gonna get back to this. By 1910, records show that more Black Americans own land than ever before in the history of the United States. So this is 1910. Keep in mind, this is only about like 100 or so years ago, right? This is 110 years ago, 111 years ago, according to Esau's calendar, right? Over 14 million acres of land were owned by approximately 210,000 Black persons, leading some historians to refer to this time period as the height of Black land ownership. Since then, however, right? So since Martin Luther King, however, Black land ownership has been on a steady decline, right? So since the civil rights movement and since we couldn't decide if we love Black people or not, and we couldn't decide if Salakia, we couldn't decide if Auntie's chicken was better than Church's chicken, right? That's what we had a hard time talking about. Hey, Salakia Ak. Hey, Salakia Ak. What's up? Most High in Christ. We got Salakia Officer Kaya Dewan, right? Where is he coming from? Straight out of Alaska. He's tuning in, right? Let's give that officer a hand for passing his test, right?
Come.
Good
Shalom.
job, Ak. Right? Bring that truth out, Ak. They need to hear it over there.
Okay.
Right? So since Martin Luther King, there's been a steady decline in land ownership for Blacks. You know what else has been a steady decline for Blacks? Ownership in general. Right? We don't own land. We don't own the stores in our neighborhood. We don't own the bars in our neighborhood. Like we just consume. We don't sell. Right? Like we're reduced. We used to be selling in the store. Now we got a cart in front of the store on the sidewalk. Right? You go down to Eglinton and Oakwood, they won't let them buy those stores. They've been there since forever. They won't let them buy those stores. Right?
Gotcha.
They're gonna sue, ice them out, and you're gonna see Eglinton and Oakwood disappear. There's already, if you're familiar with Eglinton and Oakwood, you know right at the corner there's a pizza shop, right? I haven't been there in a while. There might have been a pizza shop the way things are moving, right? Right next to that pizza shop, if it's still there, there was a parking lot, a green pea. That parking lot's a condo, right? What do you think is happening next? There's a train line right under it that runs from Western Road all the way out to Scarborough. Next is going to see, there's not going to be a Randy's Patties. You better go get your Randy's Patties right now, right? For all the shape ups that those barbers been giving, they're about to lose their barbershops to the oppressors because they wanted to give gay Egyptian shape ups to
That's
the children of Israel, right?
mashallah.
So you're gonna slowly start to see little Jamaica disappear. Kanak.
No, Consul, you just took the word out of my mouth. I was just gonna say it's recognized as like you said, Little Jamaica.
Right. You're gonna see it disappear, right? And if you know anything, Little Jamaica is not in a good state. So again, Martin Luther King did nothing for us except trade us. He traded us for a few riches, and he didn't even get to, like, you know in Esau's gangster movies when they say you're not even gonna live to spend that money. He didn't even live to see his nightmare come true, right? He died like a Jake on a balcony, right? The same way they're killing us now is the same way they killed him, right? He didn't get to enjoy the rotten fruit of his labor, right? So I'm gonna send this sign out link right now. Once again, we're the I'm Officer 50 Zabaja of the I.S.U.P.K under Commandant General YAHANNA. Like to give a shout out to the troopers and for tuning in and always for being strong in this truth and always tuning in, right? And handling the reading for us. And anybody who was watching, for Wada for tuning in, make sure you like and share this video. I'm gonna drop some more sign-in links in a second, and then we're gonna say the Lord's Prayer. I'm gonna give the announcements, and we're gonna salute out and end the class. Sign out links. Kanak.
What, sir? Likewise, sir.
Iron the bar, no sweats. Oh wow, did I put the sign in one? I think I put the sign in links. Salakia, let me drop the sign out link right quick. Bear with me a moment. That was the sign in link I dropped for the English. Put the right links right now. Make sure you hit that link if you're trying to get in the school. Right? Contact your camp leader. Don't forget Passover is coming up. All right, I'm gonna announce all of that. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock on this same channel, we got the Brotherhood class, right? Come learn real brotherhood with Officer 50 Darash. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, same channel, we got the Brotherhood class. Like, you don't know what brotherhood is if you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, right? Those Treyway gangsters, they thought they had brotherhood with 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine gave out over 100 years. You don't have brotherhood unless you are in the I.S.U.P.K under Commandant General YAHANNA.
Good.
Right, so those sign-in links are out. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Brotherhood class with Officer 50 Garage. Don't forget, if you speak French, we got you too. Check out I.S.U.P.K Quebec. And if anybody who's from the tribe of Levi or the Haitians, go check out I.S.U.P.K Haiti. I think I butchered that word. I don't even know if I said it properly, but it's not the English version of saying Haiti. Kanak.
I believe they say IT.
IT, okay. Get me right, get me right. Right, so hold up. Yeah, I butcher that. I butcher it all the time. Definitely. All right. So I'm gonna do these security announcements. We're gonna salute, say the Lord. We're gonna say the Lord's prayer, salute out, keep it moving till tomorrow. All right. I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak for the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashara, which means tenth in Hebrew, 10% of every penny of every increase the Lord gives you, give to the teacher or treasury department. Salaki, I said it backwards, but give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like, up and coming holy convocations. The next holy convocation is Purim, right? The 14th day, 15th day of the 12th month, which is Thursday, February 25th, Friday, February 26th, 2001. You can find it in the book of Esther. And Book of Esther, chapter 9, 2000, Salakia, chapter 9, verses 20 to 31, right? Let's just hope these Edomites aren't so scared that they could take Montreal off of curfew so we could go visit our brother and our family that we got out in Montreal, right? Because that's what we're planning to do for Montreal, for Purim, if our oppressors aren't so scared. Right? Don't forget, Passover is coming up. Let me get that announcement. Passover is going to be it's going to be in Houston, Texas. Where's Passover? Salakia, bear with me. I know it's been a long day. The Lord's annual Passover is around the corner, hosted by Commander General YAHANNA, April 24th in Houston, Texas. Start making preparations now. This year's annual Passover will be held at the BH Ranch, 1414 9 Clear Street, Houston, Texas. Hotel arrangements will be announced shortly. Check with your camp leader. You can hit up Officer Aban UPK on Facebook, or check with your camp leader in your zone to find out what's happening with the hotel arrangements, right? Reminder for the Akim and Akwath to check ISUPK.com for any announcements. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, and a headband. Right? With that said, men of Israel, I imagine we're going to say the Lord's Prayer and salute out. Which means turn and face the east. Right? Don't forget to hit the Lashuan Kodash class every Friday, 7 p.m. so you can learn to speak Hebrew just like we do. Right? So this is the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Lock with Ka. Taba'ah. Ratazaka. Hayah. Isha. Barataza. Wa. Hayah. Bashamayam. Ithanonawa. Lakam. Ka. Yawam. Wasalak Kabwath Nawa. Kasalak Nawa. Kabwath Nawa. Walaha. Tabaya Nawa. Wanataiwan.
One.
Ball.
Ball.
How a shine hour.
Shine.
Mayan.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Ya.
Yeah.
Ka.
Ka.
Hamalakwa.
Malakwa.
Wahala.
Allah.
Wahatha Parath. La'ai Walamyam. Aman.
Aman.
What we just read in the English, our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
Lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever so be it.
forever.
So be it.
Men of Israel, Akwath watching, Sar, which means turn. You could turn back to the way wherever you were if you weren't facing the east already. Right? We're gonna give a courtesy salute to the sisters. We're gonna give a courtesy salute to the brothers, and then a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajah, Barak, Salakia, Imajah Shabbat, which means hands down. Imajah, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshai Barakatha, Yad Yamatah, which means hands down. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Sisters, keep your head down and put your arms like this. And when you do the salute, make sure your head is covered, right? Men of Israel, Imajam, Salakia, Imajam Shabbat, Imajam, Barak, Yahweh Shemar Aleph Thaba Hashem Yahshai. Class dismissed, clap it up.